Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina, and happy Easter, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely day, however you celebrate this spring season. As you can see, I'm feeling very floral with my vintage Easter bonnet, which has a kind of a midsummer vibe, but I thought it matched my frock pretty well. And I just love Easter, especially when the weather's great, like it has been. And I'm hoping that it lasts because I've been getting out and doing some gardening. I've been going out and doing a little jogging. Like once it gets just that warmth in the air, I just am filled with energy and want to do all kinds of things. So I'm hoping it lasts. And while I've been gardening and jogging, I've been listening to The Stand by Stephen King, and it's the newer one, that the unabridged one, I guess, the new release that he put out a few years ago with the extra 500 pages in it. So I feel like I've been listening to a good chunk of it, and I already have, I still have 38 hours to go, I noticed, but I'm really enjoying it. I read The Stand a long time ago when that book came out, I guess in the 80s, early 80s, I think, and I have a first edition copy, which I really value, but I bought this audiobook a while ago. I'm trying to read the books that are on my Kindle and the audiobooks that I've already purchased. So this will take me a while to get through, another 38 hours. And I do remember, as I'm listening to it, I really remembered the whole Larry Underwood section, his storyline. I don't know if the original book started with him. I don't remember, but every time it gets into his story, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then some of the other parts, like the jail scenes, I kind of remember that too. But there was a lot that I didn't remember. And I'm not sure if that's because it wasn't in the original book or I just don't remember. Anyway, I am enjoying it. So there's that. And what else have I been doing? Well, I got some mail. Oh, before I open the mail, I wanted to mention I am going to be doing a live, and I never do live on my channel, and I might only be able to do audio, but it's going to be with the lovely D.L. Tillery, Mistress of Horror. She invited me to do a live program with her. It's going to be on April 24th, which is a Sunday. Is it next Sunday? It's coming up. I'll put it here and let you know, and I will also post it on my community tab. Please check it out. I'm really looking forward to that discussion, and she is lovely. If you don't know her channel, I will also list her channel below. She has participated in local haunts and Serve Cold. She put a story in. She's a lovely writer, has great videos. So definitely check her out if you don't know her channel. Okay, so someone sent me some mail, and this looks kind of legit. This is from a book depository. Okay, there's no note. Someone just sent me a book. Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. Mystery, Be Kind, Rewind. BookDepository.com. I don't really know what this is. Someone fill me in the comments if you do know, but I'm going to look into it. Okay, I guess I was just a little confused about what Book Depository is. Anyway, let me just move on and look at the book. I'm getting to that stage where I'm like kind of like old enough to be confused and still cute, I hope. Maybe not. I might be pushing that. Okay, anyway, New Orleans Fang Fest 1995. Mina's having a summer to die for. Mina arrives in New Orleans to visit her estranged sister Libby. She loves nothing more than a creepy horror movie and can't wait to explore the city's darkest secrets. Okay, I'm loving this already because I love New Orleans, and I also can't imagine anything more fun. Vampire tours, seedy bars, spooky cemeteries, disturbing local myths. Mina lands a part-time job at a horror movie mansion and meets Jared, Libby's gorgeous housemate and fellow horror enthusiast. But the perfect summer bliss is broken when she stumbles upon the body of a girl with puncture marks on her neck, clutching a lock of hair that suspiciously resembles Libby's. Someone is replicating New Orleans' most brutal supernatural killings. Mina must discover the truth and prove her sister's innocence before she becomes the victim of another myth. A fun romp through 90s pop culture, vampires, Buffy, The Crow. Need I say more, says Dawn Kurtak. I can't read the last name. Wow, this sounds really fun and nice cover. I'm going to dedicate the month of I might even do it. I'm catching up on my Kindle stuff right now. And then I've got May for Horror Mayhem, so I've got a TBR for that. But I think June is going to be reading all the books that people have sent me because I feel really bad. I did start one and then I got caught up with the Kindle, and I need to just do it. So thank you, whoever sent this book, if this was the author or the publisher. I appreciate it, and I'm going to read this because this really looks good. And I'm also going to at least dip into the books that the print books that I've been sent. So I also wanted to mention that the other night I was really thrilled to attend the Elton John concert, the farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. This is his last hurrah. We saw him at Hershey Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the theme park is. Great roller coasters if you've ever been there. It's a nice town. And the arena is small enough so it still had a feeling like an intimate space. We had good seats. He was amazing. I've never seen him live. My husband actually saw the first Yellow Brick Road tour back in the 70s, but I have been a fan my entire life, ever since I even bought my first Elton John record in the 70s, and his music was playing in my household the whole time I was growing up. And he was amazing. He played for 2 hours, 75 years old, voice as strong as ever. I could feel the vibrations of the piano. It just was amazing. The band was great. Some of the bandmates he'd been playing with since the beginning. It was wonderful, and it was lovely to see. Of course, there were a lot of older people, but it was lovely to see young kids really excited about Elton John. You know, there was a young couple in front of us who looked like they were on a date, and they were all dressed up in, you know, sparkles and glitter, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful to get away from like the headlines and the news and all that depressing stuff and just listen to great music. And I went out to dinner, had a lovely time. If you've ever been there, the Hotel Hershey where we had dinner, and we've stayed there before, is an incredible old hotel. It kind of has an Overlook Hotel feel to it, the way it's decorated. It's really great. We had a blast. So that was lots and lots of fun. I have been reading, but mostly I've been writing. I'm still working on my new book that's coming out before the end of this month. I'll let you know exactly when that's coming out. That's the last book of my trilogy, Red Finale. I'm in my second editing pass, and then I'm going to switch it over to the print format, and then I do a proof, and then I do, another editing pass. So it takes a few go-throughs before it's ready, but yeah, it's right on track. And then I'll work on the next book. I'm determined to get one out every month. So far it's going pretty well, but I haven't been reading as much because that's been taking up a lot of my time, and I'm also back with a new show at the theater. But anyway, I did finish this book that I'm holding, Scream by Margee Kerr. Margee Kerr, Kerr. I thought I was kind of pronouncing it like Deborah Carr. Anyway, this was pretty good. This is the Chilling Adventures in the Science of Fear. I was very impressed with this young woman's writing and how she, just put this whole thing together. Margee Kerr has a PhD in sociology from the University of Pittsburgh, where she currently teaches. She is a nationally recognized expert on professional haunted houses and works year-round for the Scare House Haunted House, analyzing data on customers and employees to make its attractions scarier. That sounds like a really fun job. I think I might have mentioned this before when I did this. So she breaks down the book into different parts, like physical thrills was one, starting off. She writes about going to Japan and riding this very extreme roller coaster, which sounds like a blast. It's in Fuji-Q Highland, Japan, she mentions right off the bat, Hershey Park, the Comet. I have been on that Hershey Park roller coaster. In fact, we drove past it, and it's the old wooden roller coaster. I have been on, those more the older ones. I've never done the one where you hang upside down or hang from your head or whatever. I'm sure I would love it. I love roller coasters. I would try any roller coaster. The only kind of ride I can't go on are the ones that spin, because I found out the hard way that those were not for me. Got very, very sick one time. I don't even like spinning like once. I'll feel sick. And then she also writes about going up in the tallest building in Toronto and being strapped into a harness and actually walking outside. I also don't have a fear of heights, because I don't know, I used to always climb trees, and I've never really had a real experience of having a fear of heights. And then she gets into part 2, psychological chills. One part that I found particularly interesting was when she went into Eastern State Penitentiary, the old prison in Philadelphia, which I actually have a connection with on a couple levels. One, I worked on a TV show there doing the wardrobe for a Learning Channel episode. I think it was Learning Channel. It was years ago. I think I was there for a 2-day shoot. I spent a lot of time in the prison, and we were shooting in parts that were kind of like the more run down. I've never been through the scare part, although I should. I really should go and do that. I don't know why I've always been resisting that a little bit. Well, I do kind of know why, but I should just do it. Maybe it's my own personal fear. I mean, I may have mentioned on this channel before that I had a notorious uncle who was an escapee from that prison back in 1942, I think it was. And he was apprehended in a diner in Chester, Pennsylvania, where he was shot on sight by an off-duty police officer. And it's a whole story. So going to Eastern State Penitentiary, it was kind of weird to see a member of my family like part of the display, you know? They have his autopsy photos there, and it was weird because even though for me, growing up, he was a source of fascination. Of course, I never met him. For my family, my father and, you know, his siblings, it was a source of a lot of family shame and pain. And anyway, so I don't know if they have like the ghost of my uncle there when they do the Scare Fest, but he is featured as one of the notorious prisoners on their website and then in the displays. So yeah, but she goes into a whole thing about this and actually going into parts of the prison called the Hole, where they would put people in solitary confinement and yeah, all that. And I don't know if he was the only one. I think there were a couple of people who did manage to escape, but he did not stay there very long before he got out. And he was only like, I think 24 when he died. Anyway, that was fascinating. I gave this book, I think I gave it 3 stars. It was interesting. I mean, it wasn't like, it didn't blow my mind, but I'm really glad I read it. And it does glow in the dark. I tried this. It was on my bedside table, and when I woke up really early in the morning, I saw it glowing. So yeah, nice book. I would recommend it if you're interested in the topic of the science of fear. Oh, she also goes into the Japanese forest, the suicide forest. I forget what it's called. And that was, I think, for me, like the most poignant part of the book, where she kind of confronted her own death and kind of what that place, how it inspired this kind of sadness and in kind of a beautiful way, the way it was described. I remember when that YouTube guy, was it Jake Paul or the other one, did the whole thing where he was in the forest and there was actually a man who had hung himself, and of course he made it all about him, and it was really obnoxious. And he was appropriately slapped on the wrist for that, I guess. Anyway, good stuff. Oh, I read, because I was looking for something Easter themed. I didn't finish this, Collected Easter Horror Shorts. Easter themed horror short stories. From the darkest recesses of some of the world's most chilling minds, Kevin J. Kennedy brings back together some of the authors who brought you collected Christmas horror shorts. Okay, so he's done this before. Alongside several new authors, from upcoming indie stars to Amazon top sellers. Okay, well, I read about half of the stories, and I have to say some of them are really good. I don't think the cover really does the book much justice, because it doesn't look at all like a horror Easter theme at all. I don't know. I put it here. Tell me what you think. I think a lot of the stuff that's on my Kindle, to be honest, has been like for research, like in my writing work, my writing career, where I think, you know what, I should maybe look into learning how to write alien paranormal romance because this is a really hot genre. I think about that sometimes. It's not the best way to go about it. It certainly is a fine way to waste money for books that you have no intention of reading or even writing in that genre. So a lot of what is on my Kindle, but I don't spend a lot of money on them. Some of them are even free or 99 cents. But I'll see somewhere that, oh, this is a very popular genre. Maybe I can write, alien romance, or I can look at what's Derek Murphy doing that I'm not doing, this kind of thing. And I don't know. Speaking of writing, so I was catching up on my YouTube watching and my BookTube and AuthorTube watching, and I was looking at some of Cam Wolfe's videos, and I always enjoy his channel. And he did a video about a month ago about writing and about his own goals in writing, and kind of being very honest about what he wants, and is it wrong to want to be able to make a living as a writer, which I certainly want to. And I enjoyed his video very much. And then the magic of the YouTube algorithm, Steve Donoghue's response video came up, and I watched that, and his was great. I have to hand it to Steve. He really lays it out very honestly about really what it takes to be a professional writer, and he compares it to the Olympics. And I think he's right. I really do. 3 levels he talked about: amateur, semi-pro, and pro. I would definitely put myself on the semi-pro according to his definition, but the jump from that to the pro is like the Olympics. And I think it's important to remind yourself of that. And that doesn't mean you get discouraged, but you keep working on it. I've been working on it every day, and I keep trying to improve. And when I get tempted to write in a genre that maybe I'm, shouldn't write in because I'm not that interested in it, it's only because I'm trying to think about how can I make money doing this. So it's always a little bit of that. So I'm going to link below Cam's video and then Steve's response, because I think they're both worth checking out. Okay, what else? Oh, so I decided this past weekend to explore a little bit of Easter-themed horror. So I went on Google and typed in Easter-themed horror, and I watched 2 movies, and they were both nuts. The first one I watched is called Bunny Man, which came out in 2011, directed by Carl Lindbergh. And the description is: a couple of dim-witted teens get chased by a killer dressed in a bunny suit, which pretty much sums up that movie. I watched the Grindhouse version. Remember when that was like a thing? The Grindhouse edition came out in 2019. The new director's cut features never before seen footage. I have to say, I think some of that wasn't meant to be seen. So Bunny Man was fun if you take it for what it is and don't expect too much. The whole end part when the bunny goes after the teenagers and kind of the kill scenes and stuff, that was pretty good. As was Easter Casket, directed by Dustin Mills, which came out 2013. This one was absolutely insane. I mean, really insane. All hell breaks loose when Peter Cottontail, aka the Easter Bunny, okay, it's nice to have that distinction, hears that the Catholic Church, oh no, is about to do away with all Easter rituals not pertaining directly to the resurrection of Christ. I'm Catholic. I don't get offended easily, but there were some things in this movie that I was just like, okay. And what offended me more than anything was that no one even steamed the nun costume that came right out of like the Halloween plastic bag, and you can still see the creases in it. And the actress playing the nun, her fingernail polish was like chipped. First of all, most nuns don't wear fingernail polish or just clear polish, not red polish that's chipped. It was so cheap. And I do admire this director for he's made several films, like making these really, really micro budget films. And there was a lot of full frontal nudity in it. Only the girls, I think, were naked. And one of the characters is like a rabbit puppet, like a bunny puppet. He was pretty hysterical. I mean, I was watching this just like really kind of dying laughing. Okay, so both of those movies were really nuts in that funny horror kind of way. But it made me think about, can Easter really be, as a horror trope, is it scary? And I think you would have to maybe go back to the pagan roots of the Easter holiday. All these old pagan holidays were incorporated into the church as it expanded through Rome and beyond, all over Europe and the world. The original Easter celebrations were probably very different. So I think maybe you could go back and do almost like a Wicker Man horror kind of, or Midsummer. I think that could work pretty well. So what do you think? Do you think bunnies can be scary? Is Easter a good holiday to incorporate into the horror genre? Do you know of any good examples besides the ones I mentioned? I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, I hope you enjoy your Easter holiday, however you celebrate, and I will see you next time in my haunted library. Bye!